We're back to the drop on the gas tank. Got a couple of different directions here. Tried to use my TIG welder. I was practicing to spot weld a bunch of spots and found it to be kind of cumbersome because of the tight confines. I'm basically a noob at TIG welding. So instead of doing that, I'm going to go ahead and use rivets. I've ordered my sealer that'll be here tomorrow, so I've got to get this done and at least the bottom complete and at least setting in the car before the weekend's over. I also want to get the Nova out. I need to steam clean the engine compartment and get that all done so that it's ready for the motor to go in. Winter is fast approaching. I need to get this into the car before winter gets here. But in order to do that, I need to clean up the engine compartment and get it all painted. It is being painted the same color as the car, especially the firewall. So there's a lot of work to do to get to that next point. So it all starts with this tank drop getting finished and out of my hair. One of the things that you'll see that I do is I jump around a lot. Reason I do that is simple. And those of you that work on cars, trucks, what have you, or just work on them in general, as a rule of thumb, if you work on something too long and get to that point where you're a little bit frustrated, you need to either step back, take some time away from it, or move on to a different project for a while. Because of all that I need to do to the Nova, I'm bouncing all over the place. Like I've got the electrical at a certain place, I've got this tank working at a certain place, I've got the brake system at a certain place. There's quite a bit that has to be done to the car to get it to the end result. So I can move around all over the place. I've also got to finish up some of the interior. I've doubled up the floor pans because of the stretch that the car is having, and being a unibody car, it was actually ripping the floor with the last motor in it. So what I've done is, in fact, put in 2 floorboards. But we'll get back to that later. But that's kind of where we're at today. Today I want to get this finished up. I've got sealer ordered for it. That'll be here tomorrow. It's a definite must that this has got to be finished up and at least dropped into the car so that it's out of the way. I've got to do a little bit of molding to this side. So right now where I'm at with the drop tank is I need to finish up this side. I need to grind the welds on the other side. This particular side, when she's sitting in the car, has to be molded up. It has to have a bend up because there's a direct piece of metal. So this side will be a little bit tricky, so I'm going to have to do some finish work to this side. Pretty much everything else will lay flat. There are some little curves and that type of thing in the trunk, but I think I can work through it. So today all I'm really focused on is getting this part complete and put together and at least dropped into the car in a rough fashion. I can always bend this on the brake once I've got this where it needs to be. But the main part is to finish up everything. One of the things that I was doing was I had to put this piece in, and it fit in behind these other pieces. Well, I had riveted this one in and welded this one in, and then I had to get this piece in and underneath it, which was loads of fun. So I got to find out that even though my welds look like popcorn, my popcorn welds held pretty well. So I'm going to have to grind them out and do some finish work. But right now, with everything that's going on there, my seam sealer will be here tomorrow, so I'll be able to seal it all up, at least the bottom part and then underneath, and then at least get some primer on it. Get it cleaned up, get some primer on it. That way, it's ready to go when it's all done. I do have some hammer work to do to it because some of the edges are a little bit on the rough side, so I do need to hammer those down. Probably use a little bit of body filler up here where you can see it, so that it's a nice smooth transition. I'll tack weld all these corners just to make it nice. But that's what we're working on today. I will fast forward through most of it, but you'll be able to watch and see if this $18 Amazon tool makes the grade. So far, I've done this whole entire side. I've done probably 24 rivets so far, and so far, I'm really happy with the results. They are in tight and good. And one of the things that I found out is when it pulls up the rivet, it pulls it right up straight. When you're using the handle, if you get cocked in any way, it'll wiggle around. So with this tool, I've been able to just pull them. They pull straight up, and that allows me to not have to cut off the bottom of the rivet. I can hammer it right over, and it gives me an even better seal and a tighter seal on the metal to metal contact. But like I said, I'll fast forward you through most of this so you don't have to suffer through watching me drill holes and put rivets in. But one of the things that I do need to do is, if you look in the, you can see there's a lip in here. This drill bit will almost fit in there. That's how much that lip is. Now let me grab something I can show you. See, I can, in some of the areas, I can put this rivet underneath. So one of the things I've had to do while I'm doing this is bring the two edges together, because there is a really bad dip in this part of it. May have been caused by just riveting things too tight on the other end, and it kind of bowed it a little bit. But we'll hammer it into place, and we'll get it where it needs to go. Like I said, this is underneath the car on the bottom, so it really isn't that much of an appearance piece. In the trunk, I'm not sure what I'm doing yet, but odds are it'll be covered, so no one will ever know. There are some areas, like I say, as I hammer out, if it's up here on the top where it can be seen, there'll be a little bit of skim Bondo on it just to smooth everything out. But that's kind of where we're at. So hang tight, and I'll start drilling some holes. So I wanted to show you what it looks like after you hammer the rivets. As you can see, I've got the washer in there. The rivet kind of breaks off right there, which makes it real easy to hammer the aluminum down over the top of the rivet. So you end up with this nice looking little nub on the end. It also spreads out over that washer, so it definitely makes an even better connection than it did before. Like I said, you can see that there's a little bit of bowing here, and that's mainly because of the hammering on both sides is going to actually make the steel move out. I've got to grind some of these welds off. I'll do that after I've determined where I have to make some bends for the trunk. But we're going to go ahead and set this in and see how we sit, and we'll kind of go from there. So hang tight for a minute, and I'll get you moved over there so you can see. Okay, so bringing you up at the top, you can see I've got a little bit to trim to get it down, but you never want to cut too much out of the floor before you get it in there. But this kind of gives you, at least in the back part of it, it's up about an inch higher than it needs to be. The opening down there, I've got to close it off so that I can put grommets in it for the fuel lines, and then mount to the back on the outside of it to put the filters and fuel pump and everything on the outside, all rubber isolated, because these electric fuel pumps do make a lot of noise. But this kind of gives you the general idea how everything's going to lay out. That side over there is going to take a little bit of work because I've got to bend it one more time. But the rest of the work that's going to be done to it is going to be done from underneath the car, mainly because I need to just trim just a little bit here and there to get it to fall into place. And once it falls into place, it's going to be ready to put in. And then again, on the sides, they're all extended out except for the back one. It's about where it's going to be based on the cutout from the old fuel system. That's got to all be flattened out on the back of the car. So that's the length it's going to be, because it comes right up to the edge here. And as you can see here, where's my finger? There it is.
As you can see here, there's a rise where the old gas filler used to be, because it used to be risen up here. So I'll be able to flatten that down, cut loose all this temporary bracing for the lock mechanism, and get everything done. But just to give you kind of an update, this is where we're at. So we're almost there. Like I said, just a little bit of trimming here and there. I want to do that, and she's ready to go. But anyway, that's today's video. Kind of show you the finish up on that pan. Like I said, I've got to do a little bit more trimming and that type of thing. If y'all want to see it, drop a comment saying, hey, we want to see the rest of it. I'll bring you in when I'm done, kind of like I did with the riveting thing. That way you guys aren't standing there watching me grind at the bottom of the trunk floor, because it's going to be a process. You never want to take away too much metal. You want to just take a little bit, and I'll just keep doing that until the pan drops in. And then I know I'm right on the money. All the edges are good. I can even seam seal, I can seam seal around the opening, kind of everything that needs to be done to it to make sure that there's no leaks, what have you. I am going to put a drain in it, because with the tank sunk down in there, if I ever want to take the gas out of it, or say not so much that, I could use the back outlets. But if something ever gets in there and I need to drain it, I've got to have a drain in there. Say a battery decides to leak or something of that nature, and I need to clean it up. It'd be easier if there was a drain in it. Like I say, I'll kind of bring you on board after I trim it, get it dropped down, and I can get a measurement for that battery tray. I'll go down to good old metal supermarket, pick up the metal that I need, and then I'll build a baby box to put next to the main box. It will overlap the two of them. And then on that side with the welds, I'll cut and grind the welds to make it so that it fits. With that, everybody have a great day. Have a great week. I'll see you in probably another week. But anyway, that's all from me at Papa's Custom Cars. Please like, share, comment. I need subscribers in the worst way. So if you know anybody, turn them onto my channel. And if you have any comments, suggestions, or just want to know anything in general about what I've done so far, shoot me a note and I'll answer your question for you. And that's about all I have for you today. Everybody have a great one.